Hello there, everybody. Hola, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, salaikum assalam, namaste. Hello to everybody out there. My name is Frederick Rocco Gattuso, the former Republican candidate for the mayoral position of Carteret, New Jersey. I'm doing this video tonight because there's some things that need to be cleared up, and after having 2 weeks away from the election, seeing things a lot clearer, reflecting on a lot of things, looking back on a lot of things, there's some things I feel I need to say once and for all. Before I get into any of that, I want to take a moment to apologize to all the teachers out there. I want to make it clear that my page, formerly Fred Gattuso for Mayor, now Team Carteret, which I might be changing back the name as soon as Facebook allows me. This page was run by not just myself, but by numerous people, up to 8 different people. And every post that came out on this page was not from myself. The videos obviously are all from myself, but the majority of the posts were not really from me. They were from other participants, admins on this page. So there was a post a couple weeks back about the teachers' salaries. Myself, I did not put that post up there. I understand from word of mouth that told from quite a few sources they were very upset about their salaries were put out there, and I don't blame you, and I don't agree with that. And I want to apologize on behalf of this page for that post, because that was not myself that did it, and I don't think that was right or fair to do that to people. I've, through public Oprah requests, have the salaries of every borough employee, and I could have released those at any time, but I chose not to. That's I don't think people's business. The mayor's salary and John Solanas', yes, I did put that out there, and also that Norris guy from the library, I did, but I don't think it was right to do that. And I caught a lot of backlash from that, from something I didn't even do, but of course, because it's my page, eventually that I caught the backlash of that. And I want to say to the teachers out there, I apologize about that. That was not on my be-doings. The post has been removed, and I have since removed all the admins from this page. So now the only admins on this page are myself, a family member of mine, and my girlfriend, to make sure there's no more problems like that ever again. This video tonight, I'm doing it on YouTube instead, because this is the way I felt like doing it tonight. And I had a good close friend ask me to start doing them on YouTube instead, because we could reach a much bigger audience. So I wanted to get out of the way before anything. I apologize to all the teachers out there. That I don't think that was right, and I don't think that was cool, and I don't condone that. And I apologize, even though I wasn't the one that posted it. The post has been removed, and I apologize. After being able to reflect a little bit on this election the last 2 weeks, I got to see things a lot different and a lot clearer. When you're caught up in the mix of the election, there's a lot of chaos and a lot of madness that's going on. And there absolutely was. For those who don't know, I started doing these live video chats on April 9th of this year. I started to do them even against people from my party's wishes, and they tried to command me not to do them. And I said, no, I'm doing them, because we couldn't afford to compete with the budget of the opposition. And I thought it was the best way to have an avenue to speak to the residents directly and for them to get to know me. And I believe it did pretty damn good with them, to be honest with you. I think it was a great positive thing, even after certain members of my party and ticket demanded I do not do them anymore. And I caused many arguments with those people. But I persisted, and I continued to do them. And I will continue to do these every single week, regardless who likes it or who doesn't. These videos were, I think, very good. And going back and being able to watch some of them now that the election is over, I started to realize a few things. In the beginning, when I was doing them, And it was a very short, small little crew of people. Myself, my girlfriend, and a family member or two behind the scenes that were really the core of my team. Going back and watching them, the older ones now, here and there, in the past few weeks, I realized I enjoyed myself a lot better doing it with just that small core group. It was more what I wanted to do for the town, and the message I wanted to portray to the people. And I really did enjoy doing them. I had a blast doing them, and it was more controlled, to say is the word. It was more direct, my message. As time went on and time went on, more and more people got involved. And there's an old saying, sometimes too many cooks spoil the soup. And as time went on, I had too many people in my ear, too many people pulling me in too many different directions. And just for myself, looking at the videos from the beginning to the videos to the end, I enjoyed doing the videos in the beginning a lot more than I enjoyed doing them at the end, to be honest with you. I really seriously did, because the more and more the election went, the more I had more people in my ears, the more I had more people trying to focus and direct me towards certain different things, that I went along with to keep peace. And I don't know necessarily if that was the right thing to do or not, but looking back on it, I wish it just stayed the core group that I had in the beginning, and was more focused and more direct and more to what my message was, and not to what other people were influencing me to say or put out, to be honest with you. And like I said, this is no disrespect to nobody, but this is the truth, and I got to speak from the heart. So yeah, looking back at the last few videos, the last few months of the videos I did, I wasn't happy with them. I really wasn't, to be honest with you. I really wasn't happy with a lot of the things that were going on, the stuff that was being put out and so forth and so on. Or other people's actions, I should say, as well. But to keep the machine going and to keep the wheels on the machine going, I played along with it, and for the sake of the party and for the sake of the election. And looking back on it now, I don't think that was a good thing for me to do. I think I should have just put my foot down and said, to hell with this, I'm going back to my old formula, where it felt right for me, where I felt more comfortable with, which I like to believe a lot more people felt more comfortable with too as well. I was starting to stray away from what my original message was. And I apologize to myself for that, for being influenced by too many people, for having too many voices in my ears, for not knowing who to trust and who not to trust, and for not just sticking to my original voice and my original plan. And going forward, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it back to where I felt comfortable with it, not to what others wanted me to do and what others were influencing me to do or to say. Or, you know, sometimes people give you advice and give you direction, but it's not always for your best interest, it's for their invested interest. And that's where I think the train went off the track a little bit. Was there certain things that were said or done that, looking back on it, I would have done different? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Completely and totally. Was there certain people I would have taken out of the equation? Absolutely. Completely and totally. But it was what it was, and it is what it is. All I know is I can learn from those mistakes that were made and move forward. And going forward, that's how it's going to be, regardless who likes that or not. So, We got rid of a lot of those people. We subtracted them from the equation. There's certain people that I will not work with anymore. There are certain people that I want nothing to do with. You know, you live and you learn, and you see people's true colors. And some people, even though when they say they're on the battlefield with you, really they're sniping at your back waiting to shoot you. You know what I mean? So, you live and you learn. That's it. It was all a learning experience. I have no regrets. I have no problems. Just looking back, but as a human looking back, I would have done quite a few things differently. My main intention from day one always was to help the residents, and still is to help the residents. And if anyone out there ever does need any help, you could message me 732-501-6782 or message me on the Facebook, and I will do everything in my powers to help you. Team Carteret is still a thing and will always still be going, because that is the connection between myself and the residents, and working together regardless if you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent. Like I said from day one, a lot of folks always said they respected that the most about me is I don't play party lines. I don't. I never did, and I never will. I think everybody should come together, regardless of what party you are. I don't really respect many people who just vote party line. I'm sorry I have to say that. Some folks aren't going to like me saying it, but it has to be said. I vote for who I feel is right, not for the party. I don't. And there's a lot of things that I believe and practice in my life that may not be your typical Republican way of thinking. You know, I'm more of a libertarian than anything. For those who don't know, like I said, Dr. Ron Paul is my favorite politician of all time, and most likely always will. There's a lot of things with the Republican Party I don't agree with. There's a lot more with the Democrats I do not agree with at all, to be honest with you. But I don't play that party line stuff. I don't play that I'm a diehard this party or a diehard that party. I don't play. I try to fight for what's right for the residents or for the community. And when I think community, I think that's everybody coming together, not just one party overpowering the other party. I think that's a bunch of nonsense. I think that's too much separation. And I think that's a big problem with politics and a big problem with the world in general. So instead of having all that division, I'm a red, I'm a blue, you're a human being. Why don't you come together as one, regardless what your party is, regardless if you're Republican or Independent or Democrat. Me personally, I don't believe much in a two-party system. I don't. It's very easy to have a two-party system and have somebody infiltrate the other system and put a plant to corrupt and pollute that system. It's very easy. It's been done many times. Current administration has been known for that. It's a big game plan of theirs. Anyone that thinks I'm full of BS on that, you can do your research. It's the truth. Would I put it past them in the future? No, I wouldn't. Would I put it past them in the present? No, I wouldn't. But what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to make any excuses here, what happened with the election. I'm just putting forth looking back the past 2 weeks, being able to look at everything through clearer eyes, not being caught up in the mixed and hysteria of the election. This is how I'm seeing things, and how when I say going forward, how I will be going forward. I'm going to continue to fight for the people. I'm going to continue to fight for the residents. I'm going to continue to be the voice for the people who feel they have no voice. Like I said, if anyone out there has anything they'd like for me to get out for them, you can message me directly, whether through the message or through my phone, 732-501-6782. I never kissed an ass for a vote, and I never will. And I'm not going to be helping the residents just for a vote. I might not even run ever again for politics. I don't know. I know last week I said that I will be running for council, and I am heavily considering it, yes. There's a lot of things that I am considering. And I'll make that official announcement beginning of the year. As of this present time, yeah, I do foresee myself running for council for 2019. But a lot of things can change between now and then. A lot of things can. You never know. The mayor position may be open, even though some people say they won. I can't touch too heavily onto that. But speaking of election day, let's get into that. There was a lot of strange, fishy things going on that day. As you see, I released a video earlier of a resident stating how he was able to vote even though he wasn't registered. He never registered. Somebody registered in his name. There's also many residents that have come forward that said they were offered money between $25 and $75 to vote for a specific party. Those folks may have went to the authorities with that. The authorities may be looking into quite a few things. A lot of irregularities that happened that day that were caught on photo, on video, by eyewitness report. So you never know what's going to happen, folks. But like I said, regardless if I run or not, I am always going to fight for the residents. I want to make it perfectly clear. I sacrificed my entire life for the residents in this election, regardless what party you were for, regardless if you voted for me or not. There was nobody, let me make this perfectly clear right now, there was nobody that sacrificed more in this election than myself and Andrew Joan. There was nobody. It's the God's honest truth. And I thank her for being the rock behind me to keep me moving forward. Was there many times that I wanted to step out of this election and bow out of it? There was quite a few. Had nothing to do with the opposition. Don't give yourselves any credit on that. Had to do more with the people in my ears and the people surrounding themselves with me. There was a lot of frustration. There was a lot of aggravation. There was a lot of people not doing their part to what I felt. I felt I was carrying a load of more than just one man. And that got frustrating at times. Did this election cause a lot of aggravation, a lot of grief, a lot of problems, aggravation, a lot of arguments between myself, friends, family members, so forth and so on? Yeah. Did I lose friends and family members from this election? Absolutely I did. Did I gain new ones? Yes, I did. But like I said, bottom line at the end of the day, there was nobody that sacrificed more than me and Andrew Joan in this election. And it was not because of any opposition. That's being truthful. Like I said, I don't mind losing. I have no problem with losing. That's part of life. I have a problem with being cheated. And like I heard from many residents, many residents, a lot of them feel we were cheated completely and totally. And there's a lot of evidence that shows we were completely, totally cheated. So, I don't cheat to win. I play fair. Was there a lot of things that were said that were ugly? Yeah, there was, from both sides. I feel I had to say some things to defend myself, yes, to retaliate against what was being thrown at me. But there was some things that were thrown out. I mean, straight out blatant, utter, disgusting lies from the opposition. I don't need to get into call me racist, call me sexist, call me all these other things. But the thing I think that was the absolute most utter, most disgusting from the opposition was calling me sick in the head Fred. So you're pretty much saying that I have mental health problems and making fun of me for that, even though there's absolutely no truth or proof to any of that. So I find it disgusting that the opposition, even if I did have a mental problem, would make fun of somebody with mental health. To be honest with you, after looking back the past few weeks, I think that was to me, was the most utmost disgusting thing that those folks said about me. There is nothing mentally unstable about me. It never has been. What I find disturbing is someone that would actually say that about somebody and then laugh about it and make jokes about it when you look at the actions that those people did. The actions the opposition did, they should be ashamed of themselves, first and foremost, whether it was me or anybody else that ran. Bottom line was, it was against me because nobody else in this town had the guts to stand up to them. They didn't. It's the God's honest truth. And I put my money on it, saying that none of the people who even thought of maybe standing up to these people would have took all the shots and cheap pops that they threw at me and kept on smiling and kept on going forward. And that I did. No matter what they threw at me, they couldn't knock me down. From all their cornball games, from all their stupid flyers, from all their nonsense, the lies, everything, I took it all with stride. And I smiled and laughed back in their face. And still am. Now, as far as going forward, I want to make it perfectly clear right now. The only page that I am a part of is this page here. Is the page formerly known as Fred Gattuso for mayor, now known as Team Carteret. It's the only page I'm affiliated with, associated with, or endorse. And I don't like to say my page, I like to say our page. Because the majority of people who are watching, we've been through this together since April 9th. And hopefully you'll continue to go on the ride with me into fighting for Carteret, for the residents, regardless of what party you are in. Let me get back to that, regardless of what party you're in. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I believe that may not be the most Republican thing to say. And let me start with the Second Amendment. I believe in all the amendments. I believe people should have the right to bear and protect arms. But I also believe people need more mental health checks to be able to bear arms. I don't think your right to bear arms is more important than somebody's life. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not a big, I need a gun guy. I'm not, and I never been. There was a song from 311 back in the days called, well, I can't say the exact words, so I'll just change it. Guns are for suckers. So I believe you should have the right to bear arms and protect your home in case somebody tries to break in or whatnot. But I never understood this big fascination that I need a gun and it makes me feel like a bigger man. I don't get that. I think people's lives are way more important than you being able to defend yourself. And if you can't defend yourselves with this, then what kind of man are you? Or this, ultimately. If you can't speak your way out of a problem, so forth and so be it. But I do believe there should be metal detectors at every single school, even though you don't hear it anymore, well, not so much anymore, about shootings at schools and stuff. Thank God we never had a shooting in a Carteret school. There almost was once. For those folks who don't know, in 1994 it was, myself was almost a victim of a gun shooting in school. I had a friend, somebody I considered a best friend, somebody I considered a brother. So I don't like to throw that word around, my brother, too often or too loose, because brother can turn on you real quick. And when those people are going to turn on you, they don't come at you with a scowl and I'm going to get you. No, they come at you with a smile and a hug and, oh, you're my brother and there's no hard feelings, brother. Those are the first ones that'll turn on you in a heartbeat. So back in 1994 it was, in the winter, I was a senior in high school, Carteret High. And there was a gentleman, a friend of mine, who started experimenting with different substances, illegal substances, and lost his mind. and flipped out and snapped. Tried to kill his baby mama, tried to kill his baby, tried to kill his mother, tried to rape my ex-girlfriend, and went after me. I was in detention hall in school, the tank we used to call it, Mr. Konjerski, rest in peace. And this person came into there with a gun loaded, ready to shoot me. Now, I had no idea what the hell was going on. I thought it was a joke until the police ran in after him. I started chasing him and then realized this was not a joke. Miss Sorgi, rest in peace as well, she took me into her office to make sure I was safe and okay. And I was almost a victim of gun violence in school. Thank God it didn't go off. And yes, I know there's that argument, oh, you can get guns legally and illegally just as quicker. You probably get a gun illegally even quicker. But I'm not a big gun guy. I'm not. I never will be. Sorry to those gun-toting Republicans who feel they're a bigger man with one. I don't, personally. So I believe, like I said back in April 9th and April 16th when I was doing the first couple videos, that every school in Carteret should have a metal detector to protect them from guns, from knives, from so forth and so on. And it's a miracle that we haven't had a shooting yet in this school. I know there was been incidences a couple years ago where there was 4 kids caught with guns and stuff and whatnot, but it's a miracle that we haven't had one there. And I think, you know, I'm sure the opposition are still watching my videos, the councils, a few of my ideas I've been taking, which I have no problem with as long as it's going to help the community. So I'm going to give you another idea right now, guys. Why don't you spend the money to get metal detectors in those schools? Because even though we haven't had a shooting yet in the schools, it's a lot cheaper to put metal detectors in those schools. Every single school, the high school, middle school, even the elementary schools, than it would be. You can never rebuy a life than to pay for those funerals and the hurt and the grief of families if, God forbid, one actually did happen. So since you guys like to take my ideas, I have no problem giving them to you as long as you use them and use them right and use them well for the betterment and safety of the community. You guys repaved Carteret Ave, which really didn't need repaving, but yet yesterday when I was driving up Wedgwood Drive past the Carteret Gardens by CVS, those roads are disgusting and horrible. Those should have been paved way before Carteret Ave. But I guess that was a thank you for all your signs on there, huh? I guess so. And let's talk about the schools. Talk about that Accelero school, that pay-for-profit school that they're saying now is eligible for a lot of families. It's not a public school, folks. It's a private school. It's a pay-for-profit school. The one that they're going to be turning into Holy Family over there. And I have a big question. Why was Miss Rosa Diaz involved in that when she's part of the public schools? It's a question I have for the residents. If you're part of the public schools and that's a private school, what is your vested interest in that? And now I understand also that those schools are going to be mostly for Section 8, which I have no problem with. People need help. They do. But don't say those schools are going to help everybody when they're predominantly for Section 8. Don't say that. Don't fill the people up with lies. It's really not going to solve any of the problems of the overcrowding in schools. And they want to say there's no overcrowding in schools, but I believe the students come first. At RAN last year, they proved and showed the numbers of how our schools are drastically overcrowded, worse than they've ever been in the history of the school system in Carteret. Carteret has a lot of problems, folks. A lot of problems. Which is why I was running to try to help resolve these problems. Still a lot of corruption in this town. The corruption didn't end because November 6th came and went. If anything, the next 4 years, the corruption is going to get even worse. It's going to. I like to believe myself and the people that were with me, we brought a lot of that to light and got people to start asking questions and got people to start looking into certain things they had no ideas about before. I also like to think that maybe we gave hope and encouragement to the younger generation to run for politics someday. I hope that I could prove to people you don't need to be the most polished, the most perfect human being, the most acting to run for office in any form, whether mayor, council, so forth and so on. You shouldn't have to be. George Washington wasn't the most polished, perfect person. Most of the politicians out there aren't the most perfectly polished or presentable people out there either. Just look at our president. It's the truth. Some folks may argue he's doing a great job for the country. I think he is doing a great job for our country, but I also think he's a big foul-mouthed jerk, to be honest with you as well. Yeah, it's not very Republican of me to say that. He's doing a good job. He needs to shut his mouth. Like I said, I don't fully believe in one establishment. I believe in everybody coming together. I voted everybody. I voted for every side before my past. First time I ever voted, I voted for Bill Clinton in 1996. I didn't know any better. I thought he was cool at the time. Looking back years later, I wasn't that cool. I voted for President Obama the first time. Even people might not believe me when I said that, but I actually did. Even though I made songs and didn't agree with a lot of his policies. I voted for Obama the first time because I felt the country did need change, and I wanted to see history made. And most importantly, he kept saying he was going to reverse the Patriot Act on day one, which he didn't. He actually added more provisions to it, which is why I ultimately turned against him and refused to vote for him after that. I voted for Ron Paul more times than I voted for anybody in my life. I think there was good presidents and bad presidents on all sides. You know, I think George W. Bush was horrible. I think he was absolutely horrible as a president. Him and his father. I know it's not very Republican of me to say it, but Ron Reagan, I don't think Ron Reagan was some saint or some amazing person either. And every time I talk to these diehard Republicans and they put Reagan up on a pedestal, well, Jimmy Carter sucked as a president. It's the only reason Reagan was any decent. I wouldn't say great, decent. But even then, he was no good either, in my opinion. I would have liked to seen Ron Paul be president. I know it's not very Republican of me to say it. I would have liked to have rather have seen Bernie Sanders go up against Trump than to see Hillary. Yeah, I think people would have voted for anybody but Hillary, in my opinion. Not because she's a woman, just because her whole family is corrupt. I'm all for a woman president. I would have seen Jill Stein be president. Well, let's get back to Carteret. Carteret, my hometown, my birthplace, and most likely my death place as well. I've said from day one, and many people who were born and raised in Carteret understand what I'm saying when I say this and agree with me. Unless your roots come from Carteret, unless you were born and raised and saw the changes firsthand and lived through them, you have no idea about Carteret. You have none. Yeah, there's people who are transplants now and say, oh, you know, this is my town. Yeah, it's nice. It is your town. But that'd be like me moving to New York and saying, I'm a diehard New Yorker and I know everything about it. No, you don't. You have no idea about that little 4.9 square mile town called Carteret. You have no idea the changes we've seen. You have no idea, and you never will. Never, ever will. And that's in general for anyone. If people want to take it personal, take it personal. I don't care anymore. What I'm fighting for is to help this town, is to help the residents. That's what I was fighting for. It's what I'll continue to fight for. All those people with their own personal agendas in my ears, that's not there no more. I had to nip that in the bud. Because going forward, I'm not making the same mistakes. I learned from those mistakes, and I'm correcting those mistakes. And if you ain't with me, then forget me. It's as simple as that. I'm fighting for the entire town, for the Democrats, for the Republicans, and yes, for the independents as well, for the unaffiliateds as well. I don't care what your party is. I don't care if you voted for me or not, to be honest with you. I care about what's right for the town and what's right for the residents and helping the residents of Carteret, New Jersey. Do I think we should have won the best town in Central Jersey? No, I don't. Do I think someday we could be the best town in Central Jersey? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'd like to see the town strive to be. And if I do fully decide to run for council, like I said, at the moment, I am, in my heart, planning on running for council. Things can change between now and then. But I think beginning of January, I'll make it official. But as of now, yes, I am thinking about it, and I have been asked by many different people to please run for council. In case you haven't seen the video I made last week with Sam, my little man, Sammy Ocean, which I'm so happy to be back to work with Sam now. This election of madness is over. Feels so good to be back with Sam and be out of this circus of an election. Three-ring circus, I should say, of characters. So yeah, going forward, I should say, we're going to put the train back on the tracks. I'm going to stick to my message, to what I need to say, not what others want me to say. Not be influenced by too many voices in my ears, left and right. Say this, say that, don't say this, don't say that. Nah. I didn't enjoy that, to be honest with you. You could even see it yourselves. If you go back and watch the old videos compared to the later ones, I was a lot more happier doing those original videos than I was towards the end. I wasn't happy at all with them, to be honest with you. I was happy talking to the residents, but I felt there was more other people's message than mine. I felt I trusted too many people, which I shouldn't have. I felt that I was influenced by too many people with too many things I should never even have been involved with. I felt I trusted people I never should have. And there was people I did not trust one bit. But for the sake of the election and the party, I went along with it. I'm not a politician. I'll never be a politician. I'm a resident fighting for the residents. The things I do are genuine from my heart. They're not to kiss your ass for a vote. Like I said, I may not run. I'll still be here to help every single person that needs help. 732-501-6782. So any messages you want me to get out to the residents, any information, pass it on, and I'll be more than willing to look into it, make sure it's factual, and get it out there so people are aware. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not selling out. That's not going to happen. I'm not the first person to ever make a live video. But I will be the longest one from Carteret, New Jersey. That I promise you. That I promise you, regardless who likes it or not, or who backs me or not. Sometimes they say imitation is the best flattery. I say be original. Don't believe the hype. Anybody ever wants to know the truth about me or what I feel, you speak to me. Don't take it from somebody else's lips. You talk to me. Okay? I'm not making this video to air anybody out. I'm just making this video today to express what I've been noticing. And after reflecting back on the last 7 months, how I see things now and how I see things need to go forward. Things going forward, if I do make it official that I am running for council, which I do believe 1,000% in my heart that I am going to, that the residents continue to need someone to fight for them. And I'm going to say this, there ain't nobody that fought harder for the damn residents in Carteret than myself. Nobody. That's not being narcissistic. That's being factual. Factual. I feel I do need to continue to fight for the residents. The residents need someone to still fight for them. Someone who's genuine. Someone who was born and raised in Carteret. Someone who busted his ass and bled in those streets and fought for those streets and for those residents. Someone who can look to you and not give you a fake smile and cheese grin it and play that politician role. It's not me. Never was me. It's never going to be me. I'll continue to be a resident fighting for the residents until the day I die. And these videos will continue every single week. This one I wanted to do a pre-recorded one. We'll get back to the live ones. But a very good friend / someone I can call brother that I've known for almost 30 years said to me, Fred, do them on YouTube. More people can reach them. Facebook's limited. And Joe, you were right. So this one's for you, brother. You're absolutely right. I hope I made some residents in this town proud with the election. To those I didn't, sorry. Some folks I say, please open your mind a little bit more and do your own research. Prove me wrong. Because ultimately it's not about Fred Gattuso, it's about the residents of Carteret. Absolutely. It's all it's about. It's all it's ever been about. Going forward, that's all it's going to be about. And that's all it ever should be about, regardless whose name is ever on a ticket or not. For the betterment, for the future of this town. Shouldn't be about no 2-bit, fake, phony, snake, shark. Shouldn't be about any of that, regardless what ticket they're on. Should never be about that. People should be keeping it real. In the words of the Beastie Boys, sometimes people keep it really wrong. It's a damn good book, by the way, if you haven't read it yet. Beastie Boy book is amazing. I've had time to read that finally since this election's over. Thank God this election's over, by the way. But now we plan for the next stage. And what is the next stage? The next stage is to continue to help the residents, first and foremost, to release information the residents need to know, to fight for the residents, to continue to be the voice for the voiceless. That's what I will continue to do. As many folks told me, don't wear my t-shirt when I do these videos. Many folks told me don't wear my my favorite hat when I met residents and stuff. But I'm sorry, I love this damn hat. There's only 35 of these made. Video Music Box, made by I Feel Group. I'll wear this hat to the day I die. I love it. If that hat costs me votes, I don't care. If my shirt costs me votes, I don't care. I remained who I am. Someone fighting for the people. At the end of the day, that's what I am. A resident fighting for the other residents. And that's what I'll always continue to be. There will always be a video Monday, 7 or 8 o'clock. you know, the normal time slot that I've been doing since April 9th. A couple times I had to switch because of different circumstances, work, whatnot. But Monday, 7 or 8, there'll always be a video. Whether pre-recorded like this one is tonight or a live one. I'll get back to the live ones very soon, but I wanted to make this one today so I didn't get distracted by all the talking and everything. I wanted to get my message out. No more voices from different sides telling me go this direction, go that direction, say this, don't say that. Don't say this about that person, don't say this about that party. It's not about a party, folks. It's never been. It's about the residents. So many people seem to forget or never understood. A lot of lies and misconceptions put out about me in this election. Who is Fred Gattuso? Fred Gattuso is somebody who would take the shirt off his back and give it to you. Cut his arm off for you if you needed help. That's who Fred Gattuso is. Fred Gattuso is the furthest thing in the world from racist. Fred Gattuso is the furthest thing in the world from sexist. And Fred Gattuso is the furthest thing in the world from sick in the head Fred, as said by the opposition. If helping people and learning from my mistakes makes me sick in the head, then I guess you people ain't never been right, huh? A big part of what I thought went wrong with this election as well was we should have kept, this is where too many cooks in the soup get involved, we should have kept it, the focus where I had it intentionally, was to the opposition, the business partnership. Other people wanted to attack littler people that had nothing to do with any of that. Or maybe did have something to do with it, but it's not by their choice. It's by their dictator's will, commands, I should say, not will. And I apologize for that. I do. By doing that, I created more enemies than allies. And that I apologize about. Going forward, I think it's time to build bridges instead of walls. I'm not a fan of building a wall. I'd rather build a bridge. That's me personally. I'm not saying we should have sanctuary states, but I'm saying when you build walls, you alienate people or you trap people in. You build bridges, there's more access, which is what I want to do. I want to raise the olive branch out to the residents, regardless what party you are. There's Democrats I love. There's Republicans I love. There's independents I love. There's people who never voted before that I love. There's also people in the whole same circumstances I don't really care for either. I don't like to judge anybody, but if I have to, I judge them on the character of person, of how they are and who they are, not what others say about them, or lies or misconceptions about them. So going forward, we're bringing it back to the original recipe, to the Colonel's recipe. We're going to bring it back to that, to the way it was when it first started, to where I felt more comfortable with. Some folks may like that, some folks may not like that. Some folks may unlike my page for me saying that, but it needed to be said, once and for all. It needed to be said. And like I said, doing my own soul searching and reflecting after the past 2 weeks since the selection, I know who to trust, who not to trust. I know who I'm never going to be a part of ever again with. I know it all now. I know and I see it all through different eyes. There is some wonderful people in the Republican Party. There really is. Like Janet, like Dr. Lydia Sangora, like Barginda. I'll leave it at that. There's also some I don't want nothing to do with at all. Got to be said. So, with that said, we're going to be back to the live videos. Hopefully next week, I think we'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back next week. I'm taking a few days off because me and Andrew Joan have a vacation plan that we've had planned for months. And we needed a vacation and a break after the madness that me and her just put ourselves through with this election. And we're going to take a much well-deserved and needed vacation and a mental break from all the madness, the BS, the drama, and crap that you call an election. So, next Monday night, we're not going to be on at 9 or 8, or 7 or 8, I'm sorry. But we will be back towards the end of the week. We might do a few of these from the road, I should say, or from another country. But in this week's span, if there's Wi-Fi and stuff there. But otherwise, not next week, but following the week after that, we'll be back to the normally scheduled program, which we've been doing since April 9th. The original, the OG YG, Fred Gattuso. Fred Gattuso for Council 2019. Has a nice little ring to it, doesn't it? Fred Gattuso for Council 2019. They say at first you don't succeed, try again. You know, if Edison gave up the first time he tried to record audio and play it back, you might not have had a phonograph. You might not have had Edison phonographs. You might not have had sound, records, recordings. You know, or if him and Tesla didn't continue trying to make electricity trapped in a little glass bulb with a little paper flint inside, you might never have had light bulbs. It's called trial and error, folks. This election was trial and error. We knew what our shots were of winning this from the beginning, that they were slim. That was perfectly fine. We still went forward with it. Now I have knowledge and experience of what to do and what not to do, of who to trust and who not to trust, of who to limit being in my ear. I thank everyone that was a part of it, whether good or bad, because I learned from each and every single one of yous. Whether yous decide to come forward with me in this next chapter is up to you. But I will keep it to the core of how it was in the beginning. I'm going to state more to my word than other people's self-interest. Because that's where I think things went wrong. That's where I think things went really wrong. And that's not passing a buck or blaming anyone. That's just being honest. It's being truthful. It's looking at it now with clearer eyes and a clearer mind and a clearer conscience as well. So, with that being said, I would like to wish everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoy your holiday with your families. Me and Joan are going to be enjoying our time together, away from all this madness and nonsense. And like I said, we might do a live video or two in between now and the end of next week from the vacation. We may not, but we will be back next week towards the end of the week. Any concerns, questions, ideas, views, topics, opinions, please message me, 732-501-6782. And please remember who's really fighting for you folks. And who's really helping you folks. Not for their own personal gain or attention. So, with that being said, I want to say one love, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, respect, ciao, arrivederci. Until I see you all again next time, Have a pleasant night, and be well.